I call the meeting of November 20th, 2023 to order at 6 p.m. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Michelle, would you call the roll?
Potato,
Here.
Brown, Cole, here, Hochstetter, here, Reed,
Here.
Stewart,
Absent. Okay. Councilmember Stewart is absent, but he did call in. So if I could get somebody to make a motion to excuse. Barbara,
I'll make a motion to excuse Councilmember Stewart.
thank you. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Cole. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes unanimous. Okay, will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Item number 1, approval of the electronic checks and warrants in the amount of $1,920,780.23. Item number 2, purchase and sale agreement amendment, Sumner Meadows. Item number 3, approval of the minutes from the October 23rd and November 6th, 2023 council meetings and the November 13th, 2023 study session.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Hochstetter, would you please make a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I move that the council adopts the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Potato. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimous. Okay, we have no public hearings tonight. We will move on to unfinished business. Resolution number 1664, ad valorem property tax. Councilmember Cole, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I move to adopt resolution number 1664, setting the tax year 2024 ad valorem property tax levy.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
By Deputy Mayor. And I call on Chief Financial Officer Cassandra Raymond.
Thank you. There we go. Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. And it is now, trips me up every time. So good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. Before you tonight is a resolution adopting our property tax levy for tax year 2024. This is a levy the City Council is required to adopt on an annual basis. Our property tax are our most stable source of revenue into the general fund, accounting for about 21% of our general fund. This process began in late September when we received our preliminary certification from Pierce County. We brought information to the Finance and Personnel Committee on October 4th, who forwarded their recommendation to City Council. We reviewed that recommendation at a City Council study session on October 23rd and held the required public hearing on property tax revenue on November the 6th. So before you this evening is the resolution adopting that property tax levy for tax year 2024. Just as a reminder, we are required to pass a resolution or an ordinance adopting the levy and then certifying that request to Pierce County by November the 30th of this year. Under RCW, we are authorized to increase our property tax levy up to 1% from the highest lawful levy since 1985. Our overall property tax, the city receives 10% of our overall property tax assessment, with the remaining made up of multiple taxing jurisdictions, including the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District and East Pierce Fire and Rescue. One of the main components of the property tax equation is our assessed valuation. Overall, the city's assessed valuation increased 8.5% from tax year 2023 to tax year 2024. Our average valuation for a single-family residence decreased 1.8%. For tax year 2024, that in excess of $5 billion valuation breaks down between industrial properties at 56%, commercial properties, and then residential properties at 30%. Of that 30%, 23% of our residential assessed valuation is made up of single-family homes, with the remaining 7% with multifamily. The recommendation for a 1% increase in the property tax levy for tax year 2024 begins with our 2023 levy of $4,832,497. We add 1% to that of $48,325. Additionally, we levy revenue from new construction and improvements, from annexations, and a small bit from administrative refunds. This gives us a total tax year levy for 2024 of $4,961,642. The levy rate per 1,000 of assessed valuation is approximately 92 cents. And what this does, this results in a monthly change from 2023 for the city portion of the property tax for an average single-family residence of a decrease of $3 per month. And again, we've been through Finance and Personnel Committee with study sessions and a public hearing. And so tonight before you is our resolution, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there any comment from council members? No. Patrick Reed. Go ahead, Patrick.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a couple of comments. As much as I dislike the annual tax discussion, it is a budget necessity. One positive, even though I'm supporting the 1% statutory increase, my understanding for the value with the valuation changes, that there's about a $3 reduction as a net result, even though I've heard it called voodoo tax math, but it's the net because of the valuation changes, although the percentage is going up by 1%, the net to the average household will be going down. Do I understand that correctly?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll be supporting the measure.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, since anybody else? Seeing none, since this is the second reading, we will not be asking for comments from the public. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Thank you.
Passes unanimous. All right, moving on to public comment. I have one signed up, Randall Adams. I just come up to the podium.
Mayor,
You'll
would you
have-
like me to,
What's that?
would you like me to read the rules?
Yes, could you please read the rules?
This is the time for you to address the mayor and the council as a whole regarding items that are not on the agenda. When the mayor calls your name, please approach the podium. And before you begin your remarks, please state your name and address or city in which you reside for the record. You do have 3 minutes to speak. As a reminder, public comment is a time for council to hear from you and not a time to engage in back and forth debate. If you have specific questions, the mayor may direct you to the appropriate staff member for further discussion.
I forget, is green is on?
Red.
Red is on.
Yeah.
I'm Randall Adams, 63rd Street Court East. Let me congratulate both the current city council members and the 2 newly elected members on your elections victories last week. The recent crash course in civics that we've all taken has caused me to stop and reflect on the years of service that each of you have given to the citizens of Sumner, to pause and thank you for that service, and to wonder what were your goals and dreams to accomplish were when you first started years ago. I imagine it was to fully represent the citizens of Sumner, to make a difference and to do whatever you believe is best for them. Now I ask you, do you really believe that placing the onus on the citizens to track your every meeting to ensure that you are representing us is the best way to represent us? I think Councilman Stewart's suggestions last week that included opening up the process on your utility rate hikes discussion to allow for more community input and knowledge on the higher utility bills that are coming was a good try, only to be shot down by that's not required. Please raise your bar so that you could be doing more for us and instead of accepting the city staff telling you more is not required. You can do better. I know you can. That has gotten you into the current mess that we have with the Ryan House, which not surprisingly, I will now speak about. The council was presented with 4 options, and without going into the financial merits of those options, yet there could have been a 5th option. One that uses the grant money to stabilize the structure and then weatherize it so that could be phase 1 of the restoration. Then regroup at that point while keeping the property secured. We can all seek additional grants, private fundings, community help, input while leading up to phase 2. This is suggesting a stair-step approach to the restoration instead of an all or nothing approach as was presented to you. This stair-step approach is similar to the one that has been used in other historical sites around the area, including the one we're all familiar with, the ongoing restoration of the Meeker Mansion in Puyallup that continues to this very day after it was initially saved years ago. Did the city bluntly let you know that the decisions to not continue with WJE effectively killed the restoration in the city's eyes because they don't have blueprints, and without blueprints, you can't do anything. And that's why there has never been any bids to do any restoration work, and everything after that has simply been window dressing. And lastly, I would ask, why is the city will not release documents, emails, and internal correspondence that lead up to the decision to demolish the Ryan House so that we can all be educated as to why you all so strongly believe that that's what must be done?
Anybody else? Come on up, give your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Julie Norris. I live on Cherbank Avenue. I've been a Sumner resident for 30 years. I know there's a lot going on with the Ryan House, but I just wanted to thank the city staff, thank the council, thank the staff for all the work over many years on this topic. And I think the council had to make a difficult decision, but I think it was the right one. I mean, if it was me and I put in 2 or 3 years of work, lining up grants and doing all the work and starting work and then having to stop because of the condition of the house, I would have been upset. But anyway, I wanted everyone to know in the city that there is support for you, and we do appreciate the work the city staff does and the council. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Thank you.
We gotta do it now. We gotta speak now for everyone, please.
I've never been to one of these before,
You
so I
wanna
have no idea what's,
You want to state your
What-
name and
sorry?
state your name and address for the records, please?
Okay, my name is Faipia Alva, and we moved here about a year ago. We bought our place out in the end of this Main Street on 162nd. And since we've been in our home, there've been construction on the side there that's been, I guess the main reason why we're here is that has been shaking our home, and we feel that part of, if you walk into our home now, they're slanted. We can feel a dip when you're walking into certain parts of our home. And we've been told now that our fireplace is cracked. And there's other issues as well, but is this my timer? How much time I have?
No.
I've got 2 minutes, so I'll set. The other part that why I'm here, what I'm concerned is that there was the city they put up a stop sign on a road that's running next to my property. And it's at the end of our driveway, forcing us to go straight in. I mean, go straight in, straight out. There's no curve into it. So we're jeopardizing scraping the side of my car every time we go in and out of there. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what my rights are on that. And every time we've spoken to, I think it's Steve, right? Chris, what is his name?
Steve.
Steve. Steve's, the answer seems to be more on the construction company that's there rather than trying to address where we're trying to come from. But he says it's to our benefit that where the sign is at now, it's be to our benefit. And I'm not sure I don't understand what those benefits are. Because like I said, every time we go in and out of it, we're jeopardizing scraping the side of my car because of how close it is up to the street. Yeah, I don't mind. It's already on my property about 3 feet, it seems. Because they buried our property line when they paved the road. They basically they buried it. And so I'm at this point, I'm angry, but I don't know what the heck to do right now.
Okay,
So, which is why we're here.
so maybe after the meeting, you could connect with Michael Kosa back in the back row, the very back row. Might
Thank
want to
you.
talk to him. Thank you. Anybody else?
Mayor, we have some people online, so you could just make the announcement, raise your hand feature, or press *9 if they'd like to speak.
Okay, we have some online.
There's people in the audience on that. I don't know if they want to speak, but we need to at least.
Are there anybody online who would like to speak? If you do, would you raise your hand? Online?
Mr. Stephens saying no, so you're good.
All right, thank you. Okay. Moving on to new business. We have my favorite is an appointment to the Sumner Planning Commission. And Deputy Mayor, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I move we vote to confirm appointment of Mr. David Peters to the Sumner Planning Commission for a term beginning in December of 2023, expiring in April 2024.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Seconded by Councilmember Cole. And I call on Senior Planner Ann Siegenthaler.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Hayden, City Council members. I'm Ann Siegenthaler with Community Development. Mayor is seeking confirmation tonight for our next Planning Commissioner, Mr. David Peters, who is here tonight. First, just a word about the Planning Commission. The Sumner Planning Commission is comprised of 7 members. We currently have 6. You just appointed the 6th one recently. And they're appointed by the mayor and confirmed by City Council. Members of the Planning Commission are selected without bearing on political affiliations, and they serve without compensation. Members are appointed for a 4-year term. Mr. Peters has a range of experience in church ministry and construction. I'm sure he has more than that, but that's what stood out to me in his application. And he's been active in sponsoring community organizations and coaching youth in Cub Scouts. He enjoys serving people and has a history of serving the community. And so he's looking forward to serving the Sumner community in his role as a planning commissioner. Mayor Hayden is seeking confirmation of Mr. Peters to fill the planning commission seat that Mr. Elfers will be vacating in December. And that term will run from December 2023 through the remainder of that term ending in April 2024. Staff is recommending that the City Council confirm the mayor's appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peters, would you like to say something?
I'm glad she seconded it.
Okay, that's fair enough. Any comments from the public
Slight moment of panic
on this?
Nobody else spoke up. It's like, wait.
Anybody online? Alright, None? Is there any comment from the council?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody down there? Mr. Brown?
Yes, yeah.
I sat for 8 years on the planning commission, so you'll learn a lot. Maybe you'll be mayor someday.
He said,
No plans on that.
Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Hochstetter.
Yes.
Unanimous. Thank you. I look forward to watching you in action. All right, amendment to Sumner Meadows Development Agreement. Councilmember Potato, would you make a motion?
Sure. I make a motion to authorize the mayor to execute the amendment to the development agreement, updating the property legal description and extending the terms of the agreement by an additional 5 years.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor. I call on City Attorney Andrea Marquez.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The development agreement before you tonight is an amendment to the agreement that Council authorized in 2019. So by way of history, the former Sumner Meadows Golf Course has been under contract to sell since 2013. The purchase and sale agreement was amended in 2018 to remove approximately 11 acres from the legal description to convey to the railroad, BNSF, who at the time was working with the city on a partnership project to build their 10 siding tracks up and down the corridor. After years of negotiating with BNSF, they have walked away from their portion of the project. So that freed up those 11 acres that we originally removed from the purchase and sale agreement for sale back to the golf course developer. You approved earlier this evening an amended purchase and sale agreement to include those additional 11 acres back into the property being sold. And the amendment to the development agreement also includes those 11 acres back into the legal description and extends the term of the development agreement by an additional 5 acres. That is, or by an additional 5 years. That is because it has taken us years and years to get an Army Corps of Engineers permit, a federal permit to fill the golf course water features. And we finally have one in hand. With BNSF walking away, we do have to modify it, but the additional 5 years will allow the developer to get the benefit under the development agreement that they negotiated in 2019. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Andrea? Mr. Reed?
Thank you. Andrea, I just wanted, for people that may not be familiar with what this step means, is although we are gaining 11 acres back into the purchase sale agreement, we are losing with Burlington Northern, or with the railroad backing out, we're losing a significant trade-off in the White River restoration. Thankfully, it's close to an offset, but it's certainly not an increase in proceeds that'll be coming from the property as an overall. Do I have that correct?
That is absolutely correct. With the railroad as a partner in the project, they were going to do most of that heavy earthwork and the excavation of all the soils. At this stage, with them gone, the city will have to pay a contractor for all of that work to the tune of many millions. And so you're right that this is a partial offset by being able to sell the additional 11 acres, but it does not make the city whole on what it's losing in the value of the partnership.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure people understood that part of the changes.
Thank you, Patrick. Do we have any comments from the audience? No, nothing from the public? All right. Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Cole,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Potato.
Yes.
Passes unanimous. Okay. We'll call on for reports. Councilmember Reed, do you have a report?
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
Wisdom lives in the spirit.
Thank you. There we go. That's it. Councilmember Potato.
Yeah. On November 7th, I went to the election center in Tacoma, and it was a good tour to see how secure they keep the ballots, like the drop box we have over at the library. They have boxes in there that are zip tied and, you know, recorded. Everything's recorded. There's 2 people working at each station of the voting process. Plus, there are independent, like they have a Democrat and a Republican, and if anybody else wants to observe the elections, they have people that are able to do that. And the internet that they use is all internal, so none of the information goes outside the election center. So was just I mean, I believe in the election system, so I was glad to be that things were confirmed that they do run a very good, safe and secure process. And congratulations to like Andy and those that ran, Cindy and Kurt. So,
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Well, I want to remind everyone that this Saturday is what we call the bridge lighting down at the cannery. And they've added some extra entertainment this year. A group called the Jewel Tones, which has the Motown sound. They're really a fun group to listen to. And they'll play the first time at 4 p.m. And then I think they're going to play later around 6 p.m., but it'll be after the fireworks. So you can come early and enjoy the vendor market. And that's in the cannery parking lot. So hope to see everyone there.
Thank you. Councilmember Cole.
Thank you. So I attended a Rainier Communications Commission meeting on Wednesday, November 15th, and it was full of information. So I'm not going to talk about everything, but in summary, a really quick summary is that there was an election of officers and the incumbents were re-elected, and that was for chair and vice chair, re-elected unanimously. There was discussion about or an update on the ILA, the interlocal agreement rewrite, and the city attorneys have met. They've made significant progress. They're about 95% complete at this point. And the next steps are they will continue to meet in November and December. And they will have the board vote on the proposed ILA at the January meeting, which is January 17th. And then after that, the board will start writing new bylaws after the approval. Oh, so in addition, there are a couple other things. A lot of just sort of board business about insurance and distribution of real property were a city to withdraw or terminate. So the last two things that I thought were of significance to report is that the Comcast HD channels have now arrived. It's channel 322 for PCTV for us. And lastly, just an update about PCTV. They are NATOA Video Awards winners, and they were nominated for, I can't remember the number, but it was a huge number of awards they were nominated for. They received 4 first place awards, and University Place received 1 as well. And so that's it for my update. Sorry, it was so long.
Thank you. All right, City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I take over, Mr. Reed actually raised his hand.
Oh. Mr. Reed. Your sound is off.
Thank you, Mayor. I almost forgot that a week ago Saturday, Sumner High School Marching Band competed in the field show competition in Auburn, which is a pretty prestigious event, and they came away with the best overall award again this year for the second year in a row. And I wanted to wish a congratulations to them. It's prior to winning last year, it had been something they had attempted to win for nearly 30 years, I believe. And the kids have done a great job, and it was a great event.
You don't know any of those kids, do you?
I might happen to know at least one, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Coming up next week at the study session, we actually have a really unique opportunity. Not something we do very often, but we actually have 3 new police sergeants that are being promoted next Sunday. So on Monday, the mayor will be swearing them in. They are all very excited, very good choices that the chief has made, and they're all excited to start in their new role with the department. After that, we'll go right into regular business. We'll have a bus up here to give us an update on the MIC Transit Pilot Project. Then finance will be talking about the operations facility phase 1 final financing review, as well as going over the mid-biennial budget amendment. At our next regular council meeting on December 4th, we're going to be swearing in new council member Andy Elfers. You may recall that we're swearing him in early because he's taking former council member Newman's seat that she vacated back in September. After that, we'll be holding a public hearing for the 23-24 mid-biennial budget amendment, as well as considering an ordinance adopting the 2024 utility rates. Some commission updates tonight. The Planning Commission continues to work through the 2024 comprehensive plan updates. There's a lot of updates. This is requiring them to meet twice a month to ensure they're staying on schedule. And you as a council will start seeing those elements of the comprehensive plan during the first quarter of next year. Similarly, the Parks and Forestry Commission is in the process of reviewing the 2024 Parks and Trail Plan update, and council will be reviewing it as well early on next year. And then finally, the Cultural Arts Commission is currently reviewing the submissions for utility box wraps. A recommendation is expected next week, and once received, staff will work with the artist to install art on 3 boxes also early next year. On the personnel front, pleased to announce that Joey Urquhart, he was promoted from a parks groundskeeper to an environmental technician. Environmental technicians are responsible for making sure that we comply with all of our federal and state permits for stormwater. So we have a lot of storm issues in the valley here. Currently, the hiring process is underway for a community service officer, a water quality operator, which is an internal opening to start with, and then a parks groundskeeper. And then the city's working to fill the following positions. We still have some police vacancies. We do hope to offer a lateral officer a position later this week. And then the Deputy Public Works Director for Operations is also currently being recruited. 2 more reminders for you. Next week on Wednesday, the 29th, the Pierce County Council will be holding their in-district meeting here in our chambers. The mayor will be providing a welcome as well as an update on several key projects that we are partnered with Pierce County on. Chief Marecki will be speaking about some challenges in law enforcement and what we're seeing here in our community. And then the library district will be discussing the new library that is coming to Sumner. And then just one more thing, I want to congratulate Sumner Bonnie Lake School District Superintendent, Dr. Lori Dent. If you didn't hear, she was named the 2023 Superintendent of the Year by the Washington Association of School Administrators. And I just want to say, I really appreciate the collaborative working relationship and shared values that the city and the school district have built. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? No?
Thank you.
Thank you. So everybody took just about every comment I had. So you guys did a great job. And I drove through town this last weekend and there was a ton of people downtown. So I'm excited to get those businesses some business and see everybody downtown as it gets closer to the holidays. It gets a lot busier down there. And if you haven't checked out some of the stores downtown, there's some really awesome stores. So let's spend our money in Sumner And with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 6:35.